G'day guys, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. And today's topic all around Twitter and the NFL is pretty much, is the NFL rigged? So we're going to talk about that today on Steelers Nation Australia. But before I do, guys, I want to say thank you for everyone who joined me in the live chat yesterday. It was fantastic. We had over 480 people at one stage. Something happened with the algorithm. The Steelers Nation Australia went to 480 and it was great. I want to give a big shout out to, I know this picture's blurry. So blurry, right? Excuse-moi. They had Steelers saying, John, if you can read that because I copied that from my phone. But he gifted 5 subs yesterday, and I thought it was only Yuli gifting subs. So Yuli gifted about 5, 10, 15. But Jedi as well, thank you, mate, for gifting the subs. It went over my head. I had a few sherbets last night. I couldn't really think. Things going so fast. But yeah, thank you for that. So everyone in the chat, was fantastic. But today we are talking a few things. We're talking the Super Bowl. We're talking the last play. We're going to talk about Chris Oladukin winning a Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Chris Oladukin also showed a photo of him at the Super Bowl holding it, and he's a Super Bowl champion. I don't understand how practice squad players get the Super Bowl ring, or I guess they're part of the team, but they're not playing on the field. I don't know what you guys feel about that. Should the NFL only give out Super Bowl rings to 53? Or, they pretty much give everyone in the organization, even lunch lady Doris gets a Super Bowl ring for serving the players food. And that kind of makes sense, but Chris Oladukin was like, you know what? I'm a Super Bowl winner. Anyways, speaking of Super Bowl, and I do want to tackle this topic that is pretty much in a nutshell. Look, in left or right, upside down, whatever way you believe, and I'm going to give you my thoughts, and let me know in the comments below. But the big question is the NFL rigged? Right? And let's discuss that. Now, is the NFL rigged? We're going to go back towards that play that happened yesterday. Let's talk about the play. The play was a 3rd and 8. There was a minute and 30 to go. The tie game, 35-35. Chiefs going down the field, 20 yards out or 30 yards out or whatever it was, right? 3rd and 8. Now, the Chiefs were always going to kick that field goal through the uprights and to be 38-35 always. Now, at that time, Juju Smith-Schuster was held by, I think it was Bradbury, the Eagles player, and it was a holding call. Now, that changed the whole game. When that call happened, the flag came out. The first down happened. McKinnon ran to the 1-yard line. He kneeled, and the clock started. No timeouts. They kicked the field goal, and the Eagles had 8 seconds to run back. In my opinion, I believe that was a really bad call. And this comes to the question that going around the NFL league right now is the NFL rigged? Let me know in the comments below, right? That time, Chiefs get it. The Eagles have 8 seconds to run back, when in reality, it should have been a no call. The Chiefs should have kicked the field goal, 38-35. The Eagles have a chance now to run down the field, and possibly the Chiefs could win the game on defense. It didn't happen. One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time ended on a controversial call yet again. Now, how many times do we see these controversial calls happen every single year? And that's got to put a bit of weight into maybe the NFL is rigged, right? There's a certain narrative building right now. The Chiefs are the best team. Mahomes is the best guy. He's replacing Tom Brady, right? Excuse me. Replacing Tom Brady. So that is happening right now. And I do lean, here's my thoughts about it. I actually do lean that I think there is a narrative built around the NFL being rigged. Now, I'm not saying the whole thing is crazy where maybe everyone's in on it, but when flags come out like that, it does feel like that Vegas called Goodell. Goodell called the ref or spoke down to the ref and said, you know what? Make sure Mahomes gets another chance to win the game. That's what it feels like. It feels like the NFL is narrative driven. It feels like the NFL is a bit like the WWE. And a few years ago, I think it was a court case in 2011 or something like that. A fan tried to sue the NFL, and they couldn't do anything about it because the NFL is labeled as sports entertainment, right? On the back of your tickets, in the fine print, it's always about, the biggest show on TV or, the event. You even saw Patrick Mahomes carrying like a WWE belt and holding the trophy. So there is links to where I don't think that's false. Like, I think there's some truth in that the NFL could be like the WWE. They choose their villains. They might have a narrative towards, a favoritism towards one team over the other. And no matter what happens on the field, that the NFL is going to decide, and Vegas is going to decide who wins. If you guys agree with that, let me know in chat. If you don't agree with that, let me know in the chat. But let's be, respectful in the comments, because for me, I do believe that is the case. I found out 3 years ago that the NFL was narrative driven, that it was storyline driven. You go back to that call, Saints and the Rams call, where the Rams guy took out the Saints. There was no penalty, and the Saints got beat. You're like, how can that not be a penalty? The countless penalties in the NFL that control the game. It feels like that if the team isn't in a winning position, flags come out. You go back to the game that was Las Vegas Raiders versus the Chargers for overtime, and we only needed one of those two teams to win. It came down to 3 seconds in the last field goal. The Raiders just won it. So you've had all of Steeler Nation, like the whole game, waiting for someone to win, and Steeler Nation waiting for someone to kick a field goal. It comes down to that. This year in 2022 as well, I believe was the most one-score games in the entire history ever, right? How many times does a game come down to the wire where it is 20-17 and comes down by a TD or a field goal or last-minute play? I believe that the NFL is maybe not scripted, but narrative-driven like that, where, okay, let's try and give the power back to some of these teams now. They've been losing. Let's give them flags. Let's give them a bit more upper hand, and maybe they come back that way, right? The one thing I do wish that the NFL would do is if it is or isn't, I wish that they'll come out and say and cleanly say, you know what? Yes, we are. We are narrative driven, and we are, the games are determined before we walk on the field, and we could treat it like WWE. I love the NFL. I'm never not going to stop watching it. I love watching it. It's a big escape for me. I love to watch my Steelers play football. I love seeing the hard-hitting action. I love everything about it. But in these calls like yesterday, and if you were an Eagles fan, or if I was a Steelers fan and that happened or I'm a Steelers fan, but that happened to me if the Steelers are playing, I'd be beyond pissed off. Pissed off. I'd be so pissed. I really would be pissed off. If that happened to me and the Steelers got that call late, affected the whole game, the season's done, I'd be furious. So the league needs to do better, because right now, NFL rigged is trending. And no matter what side you see it, if you believe it is rigged 100% and it's all for TV, it's all for entertainment, it's all for this, it's all for that, then you are correct, right? And on the other side, if you don't believe that it's rigged or not, then you're also correct. If you just enjoy the game and you think that it's 100% real, then fantastic. Because I don't think we need to fight each other. We don't need to yell at one another saying, you're wrong, you think it's rigged. You're a crazy conspiracy theorist, you think it's rigged. Well, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to do that back and forth. No one really gains anything out of it. What I want to try and build here on this channel is talking Steelers. I love the community. I love wearing my black and gold, going around the world, traveling the world, and talking about the greats that was Franco Harris, Troy Polamalu, me and Joe Green, the football, the history, the law. I love that stuff. I just think right now the NFL is playing a fine line by giving players or teams certain calls in certain ways where it does push it to where you're like, you know what? Would Kenny Pickett get that call? Would the Steelers get that call? Are they trying to build this narrative around one team being the superstar, the goat of all goats? Could be happening. So to answer the question, guys, and let me know in the comments below. It's been a very long video, but is the NFL rigged? I would say to a certain degree, for my final answer, lock it in, Eddie. I would say yes. I would say it is rigged. I would say there is a narrative driven to there's too much money. There's too much money for a multi-billion-dollar industry to things to happen by chance. They don't want that. They will throw flags or create rules or put teams in certain situations to where if they are down by a few points, they can come back to win. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. I know it's a touchy subject, but if you believe one way or the other, don't fight each other. Don't fight me. Just have a conversation about what is going on. And of course, we're here to cheer our Steelers. And I rarely talk about this NFL rig stuff, but I kind of believe there is some narrative at some point, because yesterday, like, you can't call that. That flag right there, you throw a flag and it's 3rd and 8, and then the Eagles get no chance to run the ball down the field and the game's over. And the holding call was like not even a holding. It's another controversial call. Instead of talking about a great Super Bowl, we're talking about the NFL being rigged and how bad the refs are. But the refs are a part of the league, and Goodell is all for money. The NFL is all for money. They don't really care about us, the fan, too much. They're all for money. They're all for profit. They're a big business. They're entertainment. It's a distraction for us. That's why I watch. It's a distraction from my personal life to watch football and have fun and drink sherbets and chill out. That's what the NFL is. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think the NFL is rigged, or is it just a bad call? All right, guys, I'll see you later.
Coach Stumlin, still for the win, man.